Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Endless Space 2. The situation in the galaxy is somewhat complicated. The games of this game get really large and complex. But we have our own little plan here, we have our own road that we've already figured out, and I think mostly what's left is to walk it, so let's start doing that. We're trees, I guess we don't really you know what I mean though. What's left is to grow our vines along it, and then travel by those vines via budding? Listen, I don't know how plants work. So I've been thinking a little bit about something I said yesterday. I think it was yesterday. I mentioned that I really like the electoral system in this game, the whole political will system. And I've been... When you spend as much time as I do playing games and thinking about games, it's hard not to do a little bit of amateur game design in your head. I'm not saying that I have come up with an idea for a whole 4X strategy game, but I've come up with sort of a... I've been thinking on and off for like a year or so about a core mechanic for one of these games, and I think, without sharing my terrible game design ideas, I think a lot of the core of what draws me to that idea, and the core of what really works for me about this electoral system, is that a lot of 4X games, and we're just going to do some real simple stuff here. Where is Atlas? What am I even hacking? Oh, right. Yeah. Sleepers, obviously. As 4X games get more complicated, over the last, I don't know, like 10 years of the genre or whatever, we're really drifting away from a civilization as an expression of a single person's will, which I think is very common in the early 4X games, and civilization as an extension of the leader, more toward a civilization as a group of people who are mostly working together, but not 100% of the time. And, like, there have been, in these games for a long time, like, ideas of happiness and rebellion, I don't think particularly deeply executed most of the time. Okay, Ugaro has a thing we could explore. But stuff like... In more recent games, there's a lot more concern about like what your populace wants in a more complex way, and the ways in which failing to deliver that can cause problems for your society as a whole. So we're doing this. This is what we want to be doing, right? Yes, we want to take over Heartfire 2, and then we want to terraform it. We're going to have to figure out that terraforming tech. I don't think we quite have it. But what I would really like to see from the genre on the whole is that a little bit more focus on that kind of stuff. Like a little bit more focus on the character of the people who make up a nation. I don't know that it particularly matters which of these planets gets the upgrade next. Oh, actually, no. Sorry, it does. It does. This system has a ton of building left to do. Obviously, it should get the flat industry boost first. And we should keep an eye on the... luxuries market for Jade Onyx going up on sale, because we should probably buy all of it always. So I forget where I was going with that. It probably wasn't important, but the core point is I'm hoping that in the future we're going to see more of this kind of stuff where you have to spend effort, like we spent here, tending our population and growing the appropriate political will. Although I'd like to see it much less like people of this species feel this way, and much more that like you sort of craft your national character through your actual policy work and stuff. Because like there are some ideas. Here's a great example. There are some ideas that are very, very common in 4X games like this. Tax Act makes money, lowers happiness. But it's not universally the case that people don't like taxes, right? It's pretty much like Americans don't like taxes and are terrified of the idea of a tax increase. But there are places in the world where taxes are high and people are pretty happy because they understand what their taxes do for them. Like, I'm thinking, you know, some of the Scandinavian countries and stuff. Which is not to say that political actors in those places never try to use the fear of the government taking your money to try to get up to evil shit, but it's like, it's a part of our national character here in America that creeps into video games in a weird way. And like, it should be possible to... Oh, right, I should assign a new hack. Probably the same hack, actually. But it should be possible to, like, get your people educated in such a way that it becomes reasonable. Is this... That's 16 turns is a lot. We have a backdoor on Polaris. So is the best way to do this maybe like that? Then the worst case scenario is we lose the backdoor on Polaris rather than we piss off the Vaulters and get one of our systems blacked out. I kind of like that. Yeah, but it should be possible to educate your people in such a way that they're no longer afraid of taxes as long as those taxes are being used for the things that they want, and then like the idea of this population is more militant or whatever can determine more what they want, what they're okay with those resources being spent on. I don't know, it's a more complex idea, and it certainly is not the case that these games need to be a lot more complex. Just sort of thinking out loud. Just a thing I was thinking about today in the shower. What is this? We have an icon. Oh, right, this is where the clearing bureau is. It's weird that that gets an icon. So, the good news is we are now running the marketplace. That does not mean that I get to just have everything for free, but it does mean that we are now, I believe... Okay, transactions are subject to a 10% transaction fee, and that goes into my pocket. A tax between 0 and 25% is collected by the owner of the marketplace, so we could turn this up. I'm not sure what effect this has on the AI's willingness to use the market, but I'm going to try turning this up, and we're going to see. Wow, that's a lot of exchange information. Stuff is happening. Also, Jadonics. Look at how much Jadonics there is. Alright, so we did, in fact, create the Trade Clearing Bureau. Seems like a good idea. Trading with others is not in our blood, but a proposal will come when the Patriots are convinced. Did he actually build some trade companies? We should go check, and then if he did, force a trade contract on him by whatever means necessary. I guess we don't really need more influence, but, like, what else are we going to take there? Okay. Looks like some people have some feelings about our taxation policy. So we were at peace, now we are at truce, so a war started and was negotiated out of before we even saw the message, I guess?
There is nothing about this situation.
Okay, hold on a second. So right now, we're at war with the Nakalim. Obviously that's not okay. Let's try to figure out that. I'm sure we can buy our way out of this problem, as we buy our way out of all problems. We're at 91k dust. Jesus. That's a lot of... Okay. They really want out of this war. That's a lot of money that we've made just this turn, because didn't we start the turn after our income? We started the turn like in the 40s? It's a lot of money coming in from the Clearing Bureau. You will surrender to me all 12 of your Jadonics. This is my price for peace. Right? Maybe? Maybe. She's thinking about it. She's real. Okay, you know what? That's fine. I'll do this. I'll just take the truce. That's okay. And then we are producing more influence than anyone anywhere. So we can probably just force peace on these guys. I mean, let's have a look at what normal peace would take. You can tell the AI engine's a little bit overloaded because it's taking so very long to respond to things and to calculate. There's way too much stuff happening in this game. I probably should not be playing 12-player games. Alright, we're just going to force peace. Did she take that? She took it. Cool. Okay, so downside. There are 3 players that we are not at peace with right now. And that is going to affect our approval levels and stuff. Some of our systems have fallen down below the ecstatic threshold, but the Empire as a whole is holding steady. Can we push Zosmanos' approval up with a building? Oh yeah, we haven't built almost any of the approval stuff here because we haven't needed to. And then that'll also be true of Cygnus, I imagine. There we go. Problem solved. Now everybody's pretty much happy again, because you know what makes people happy is supermarkets.
Plans for this galaxy do not include your meddling and rudeness.
Well, you are in for a rude awakening, my tall-headed friend. Alright, what does Athero still need to build? Oh, we don't have smart tax collection. We definitely don't need to build any more C3 centers. Not for a while, at least. And then, you know what, we should probably just go ahead and jam some of these approval buildings out as well, just to, you know, sort of indemnify us against future issues like the one we just saw. IMEX has been working real hard. We should probably, you know, this system is holding at 100%, so maybe we don't need to do that, but it's got me a little nervous now. Okay, so we'll build that there. And then here, oh, here, the Center of Light and Life is actually pretty good for its cost especially. And then this, I mean, is okay. We should definitely build it. We still need level 4 modernization here, and I suppose we could just, we can make that happen, right? We're at 37 Gossamer. Here we go. Yeah, we can definitely make that available. That's probably a higher priority than these other things. And then we'll worry about terraforming and stuff. What is this? I've discovered the home planet of the Sheridan player. Sorry, the United Empire player. I wish they would do a little bit more with this. It's the United Empire. Their faction quest has a branch where you choose to sort of like adopt a new national identity, and it changes your base population type and stuff. And so you can stay United Empire, or you can become Sheridan, or you can become something else. But I really wish that they had done that with more factions. I wish they had dipped into that idea a little bit more. The fact that it exists in the game probably means there's a pretty good framework available for modders to do it. So maybe that's a thing that could be explored in the future by other people. I was working on an Endless Space 2 mod once upon a time, not that long ago, and then, without getting into a lot of gory details, my life sort of burned down around me, and that really pulled my focus away. I would like to get back to it, but we'll see. Things are still kind of on fire, so... Alright. Focusing on the bad stuff does not help me win this game any faster, though, so we're going to focus on our damn tree economy. Do I want to leave behemoths around Zosmanos? Because, like, we still have a bunch to build, right? I think I might want to just leave them around Zosmanos as we continue to build more behemoths, so that we are on an accelerating build here. And also because they're slow moving, it would take a while to get them to other places. Also, we can grab that. Another 15% industry on the system will certainly be helpful. Boy, yeah, you can see the UI chugging a little bit. The game is just a tiny bit overloaded with all the many things, and all of this trade clearing bureau money coming in is really lovely. How far are we from Heartfire? Heartfire is going to be available to us next turn. And then I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to just, like, fly around vining up the Vaulter systems or something. They'll probably appreciate that. Oh, hey, the Riftborn took back Polaris. There is an active war happening. It's not like the whole galaxy is as static as our position is. We've just managed to be insulated, somewhat by luck, honestly, pretty effectively from pretty much everything. So what do we need to do system upgrade-wise? I want to get everything to Colony 4. You're working on it, so we need 3... we need the stuff for 3 Colony 3 upgrades, 1 Colony 2 upgrade, and then, I'm counting Heartfire here already, and then 4 Colony 4 upgrades, so... Is there Jadonics on the market? There is Jadonics on the market, and every turn we're going to buy all of it, even though it's quite expensive. Thing is, we just need a lot. Alright, so... Oh, we're also short Gossamer. Sure, that makes sense. I am burning a ton of that. Not 7, 27. That's how that works. How do numbers work? What is the order that the numbers go in? Does anybody remember? Alright, let's do this. I'm glad we're pulling in so much Gossamer through our trade companies. Like, we are really spending a lot of it very quickly. But we're making almost 13 a turn. And then we have 162,000 dust, with which I think we maybe just pump the hell out of our trading companies. Does that make sense? We could do rush buyouts on some things. I guess that wouldn't be a bad idea. But so much of this stuff is not, like, critical. Wow, okay. You know, the cost of the trade freighters is relatively minor. And then you... I bet we can make it to 30k. We have extra resources we don't need. In fact, we can make it way past 30k. So yeah, trade companies. It's been a good trade company game. Not the best trade company game. It can be better. There are people out there who are probably doing this thing better. Although maybe not on YouTube. But we are certainly doing a good job. So let's keep pumping Astro Brands Logistics. And then you can maybe just sit on 22k into the next turn. So at the beginning of each turn, we're going to make a ton of money in addition to the income, right? Because every turn everybody gets their money, and then they make a bunch of marketplace transactions, and then we make a bunch of money. How many turns are we from an election? That's a really inconvenient place for that graphical effect to stop. Because we're off of we're off of the military tech. I should say, part of the reason I'm so concerned about our political parties and trying to keep things in balance, and it's definitely the case that it's at least definitely possible that I am overly concerned about our political balance, is that the pacifists have captured such a large percentage of the total vote that small moves of sympathy can have a significant effect on the second and third parties in our government. Like, because the pacifists are taking like 80% of the total vote, a shift of 5% among the minor civilizations could potentially be enough to force the ecologists out. We don't really need to keep the religious or scientist party in the third slot. It kind of doesn't matter, but it's actually very important to me that we not lose the ecologists, because the green fertility bill is worth a fair amount of dust, and there's nothing from religious or scientists that would replace it.
The galactic stage is ripe for some business dealings, no?
There's absolutely no reason for me not to sign treaties when they are offered to me. I also think there's probably not much of a reason for me to go out and negotiate new treaties, because it's a lot of time for a thing that often just doesn't actually work out. Yeah, check that out. The Lumeris have their trading companies up and running, and they're over a much larger area. Their trading companies are probably worth a lot more than ours are individually, but then, you know, us being hooked into their trade network is nice. Yeah, okay, the UE totally does have trade companies. For some reason, I think I was seeing these planets and thinking they were Lumeris. It's just there's so many colors, and they're not all that different. All right, let's talk to the UE. Oh, hey, they got invited into my alliance. That was part of the millions of notifications we got, and I didn't realize. Oh, we can also be running cooperative protocol. I totally forgot that we researched this, but let's go ahead and offer some of those up as well. So the cooperative protocol is going to provide us with bonuses based on the other faction's main population type, and it's going to obviously cost some influence per turn to hold. Do you have any technologies that I might like? Nothing terribly important, it seems like. I'll just take this deal, for the sake of not spending a lot of time negotiating. And then, you guys, we should definitely be running a cooperative protocol with you, because you are a dust-based population. I assume she'll be into this. Yeah. I don't actually know what we're giving to them in the protocol. But yeah, like, we definitely could have been producing faster here. The thing is, because of the rapidly accelerating nature of a dust victory, mistakes early on in anything other than your growth don't really matter that much. Like, us not getting the Lumeris cooperation protocol the instant that we could have doesn't really have that large of an effect, because each new turn of our growth is so much larger than the last turn, and on the whole, it's just important that we get there eventually, so that we have it for the largest and greatest turns. And then I think at this point, I'm still a little torn about weakening our science before we're on Wealth of the Endless. So I think for right now we're just gonna hold our planets as they are, at least in Dill. And 123k. So what is our speed here? We're at 1.5 million already. Now obviously we need more dust now that another player has been invited into the alliance, which I'm not wild about. But I think we're also going to see some next turn when our trade routes recalculate. We're going to see these values go up considerably because we are now connected to a bunch of new subsidiaries. So marketplace. There's no Jade Onyx. Next turn, we're going to be able to run some more system upgrades. Can we run any more level 4s right now? We could be running an additional level 4, yes. For which we are going to need, it's 60 Gossamer for one of these, right? So okay, that, and then, hey, why don't you build some microwave pipes? Hey, we'll go ahead and finish the AI labor, we may as well. Although it does not accelerate the modernization any, because the modernization is time-based rather than industry-based, so I guess we'll do it this way. Alright, and then we have no construction going on Othero. Othero, I think, is... Do we need this museum? We probably don't need it, but I'll go ahead and build it. And then I think we're in this place with Othero. Actually, and if that's the case, if we're thinking about that, then we probably want to make sure that we recolonize these planets in whatever way is most sensible here. That works. There's Nearest on this system, so hopefully we'll get some more Nearest out of this. That is also additional money. And the Nearest are boosted, right? Yes, they still are. Okay. Just continuing to push more and more ecologist political leaning into our population. And I think there'd be a lot of really cool things you could do with a system where your nation's character affected their beliefs, and then their beliefs fed back into their character and stuff. You could construct a lot of different kinds of populations that are mechanically appropriate to a lot of different situations, and it's just more interesting decision-making for the player, right? Like, it might be worthwhile to have a population that dislikes taxation because that is probably linked to other traits, you know, as it is in the real world, and maybe it's useful for you to have those sets of traits because of, you know, whatever it is that's going on with your empire. So we need to transform Heartfire 2 into a jungle or monsoon planet. Obviously, we're putting down on Heartfire 1 first because that's where the food is. But we will get there. So we're probably just going to buy out a bunch of this really early stuff. Predictive logistics is reasonable. Actually, you know what we should do is we should hire a hero before we go too much further, because otherwise I'm going to forget and spend all my money. Show me levels. That is not... I thought I said sort by hero level. Okay, that time it worked. So all of the high-level heroes are Seekers, which is annoying, but there is a level 4 Overseer. She's a United Empire, though, which I don't think is necessarily great for governing. Plus 10 Industry. This is not relevant to this system. It's not terrible for governing, I guess. She has plus 7% food, which is also not great. Oh, this one's Umbral Choir. Don't see a lot of those. I don't even remember. They give, like, bandwidth bonuses, a weak version of that thing, some more bandwidth bonuses, and Nocturnal Sleepers can be really powerful. It's not that good for us, though. And the Seeker part of the tree is just, like, no good at all for governing. I think we're probably just going to take the bad Overseer. She's level 4, so that's pretty good, and she costs a lot of money to hire. Alright, let's sell, like, a whole lot of this. This is why I wanted to do this, because I figured I figured a good hero was going to be costly. Make sure we get her in here. And it's probably a ton of food early, and then optimal operations. Okay, and then of course, you know, another thing that we have to do here is we have to send over some nearest population. I think there's some Anzos Manos. Let's go ahead and ship you to the new place. How long are they boosted for? Was it 6 turns? No, only 2 more turns. So we need to get to having... you know what? This is not a real issue. We'll just let it build up naturally. We don't have to think about purchasing more Eden Blossom. Or Eden Incense. I don't know why I always say Eden Blossom. Okay. Now we have more money that we can use to buy stuff on Heartfire. So, what else needs to be purchased here? What else is critical? Level 2 system modernization obviously is a big deal. The microwave pipes won't be good here until we have a little bit more population, so just like flat industry is valuable. And then we can make ourselves... We have now spent, like, we're done with Blue Cat Mold, right? We never need Blue Cat Mold again. This is the last system that we will ever take over. So, we can do this. We still need quite a bit of this stuff. We need like 120 of each in total, right? So we can safely sell an awful lot, actually. And that stuff's fairly valuable. Reasonably valuable. And then after we have these things, I guess Heartfire 2 getting colonized is the next thing, and we can start looking at transforming it. Not that the reward from this quest is critical or anything. And just make sure, now that we've passed our colonization threshold, is everybody basically happy? Close. Colonial rights is pretty good now. We have 20 approval from this. That would be 73k, or actually a couple of turns worth of building. I can probably make 73k happen. The thing is, we can sell an awful lot of quadronics, which is not as valuable as I was hoping. Here's where I was doing that. I was like totally had a brain fart. Okay, let's make sure that happens. Hey, look at that. It turns out money is powerful. Who would have thought? Oh, I got stopped on cancer. Probably that ship was in guard mode when we arrived. It looks like the curiosity that we were going to check out on Ugaro is dealt with already. So is there anything down here in UE space? Oh yeah, they need all kinds of help. Turns out their scanning systems are just not up to date. That's fine. What are friends for, right? So at the beginning of this next turn, it recalculates your trade routes at the beginning of each turn. So let's see what our trade routes look like and what needs to be done to make them more functional. I'm not seeing as much of a climb in our normal income as I was hoping. Really expecting that to jump up by like a couple thousand. I mean, it went up from 37k to 38k, which could be a gain of... Okay, 39k. Which could be a gain of almost 3,000 dust, you know, depending on rounding and stuff. It's hard to know what the actual number is there. And unfortunately, there's no way to see... Yeah, this seems fine. That's a good bonus. Yeah, okay, we can see our untruncated values here, but it's like... I don't know what's going on with the tooltips. And we can't see our untruncated income value. Alright, the money's coming in from the Trade Bureau. We're still only running 9 routes from each. Is that a cap? Are we not allowed to run... Because we should be... Each one should ideally be running 11 routes, right? To each of our 5 subsidiaries and then all 6 of theirs. Maybe there's a cap of 9 routes on trading companies. I guess I've never seen that cap in play before, but it... You know, you don't usually have this many routes that you can even try to run. Wagamoto is leveling up very quickly because we're building very expensive behemoths on his system. Oh, you know what? Maybe we don't actually have a connection. No, wait. We should be able to run trade along this route, and then a turn at Nakalim takes us down to their stuff. Yeah. I'm not sure. Maybe there's a maximum distance that a trade route can run? I don't know. It seems to me like we should have routes running to them. I'm not sure what's up with that. And now that you guys have finished this, what makes the most sense to vine up next? I guess vining the Riftborn systems would allow us to potentially take them over. I mean, obviously the Riftborn will not care for that. And if they were to declare war on us over it, we would lose 4 people that we're at peace with, which is an awful lot of resources, right? Like, the fair trade bill makes me not want to stir the pot in that way. So I guess we'll just keep vining up friendly stuff. Have you guys change your minds? I don't think that vining a special node that's in allied territory does anything. I guess we can test that. Now we should probably just keep vining up friendly systems and giving them bonuses. Here, that'll be our plan. And that provides a good excuse for me having sent these ships to Atlas. You know, it's on the way over to Duyel. That's all I was thinking. Alright, 104,000 dust. Just plowed directly into the trading companies. Oh, actually, do we have... We have all of the Jadonics off the market? No, somebody put a little bit on. Let's go get it. And then... I'm going to prioritize level 3 system development here. Right, Gossamer. I always forget about the Gossamer. I think of it as a thing that we don't have a problem with. Of course we have Gossamer. It's everywhere. But I do actually have to go through the motions of purchasing it. Still matters. Alright, do that. That'll help a little bit with the colonization and stuff. And we are about to have a big expensive building to build in a bunch of places. I maybe shouldn't have sold all that Quadranix. I don't know. Whatever, it's fine. We'll be okay. So something tells me. I do wish that a vote occurred or something when someone in your alliance wants to invite a new member into the alliance. Not even so I could vote them down, although I might have voted that down, but so that I would be a little bit more aware. You get a notification and everything. It's just, there are a lot of notifications some turns. Like a whole lot. Oh right, the Academy's doing a thing. I don't think I really care about that. Populations have continued to grow. In 20 turns, make sure you own the trade company producing the most dust in the galaxy. I think there's a pretty good chance that the Lumeris have this locked up. But like, so these quests that start coming at you later in the game, they're fine ideas for quests, but they just, like, the rewards desperately need to be retuned. At this point in the game, these numbers of these resources mean nothing to everyone. Who gives a shit about 800 dust? Especially people who are running trade companies that are in competition for the most valuable trade company in the galaxy. Like, who could possibly care? Alright, our population boost ended, so we need to rerun that, which means I need to go and buy some Eden incense. Okay, but not very much. And nobody's using the stuff, so it's incredibly common. Alright, just keep boosting that. We have a blockade issue on Elma. What is that? It's a Sophon detector and a Craver military behemoth. So not actually a blockade that we can break easily. Oh, no, the Cravers declared formal war. That actually does make it easy to break. Because if they were just in Cold War with us, then it's tough to do that, but we can make a truce happen, I'm confident of that. And in truce, they can't blockade us, so that'll be 20 turns of no Craver bullshit. This is actually pretty good for us if we can get the truce. Which we can, because everybody's terrified of war. I don't know why the AI keeps declaring war in situations where what it really wants most is to not be at war with me. And I mean, I say with me. I mean with my alliance. There's no way that Craver's concerned about war with me. I don't have any ships. It turns out you don't need them. You just need the ability to have them in the future if you wanted to. Alright, so each one of these things is going to cost 10 quadrinics and 10 orichalcics. Now, there's a lot of orichalcics on the market last time we looked. Let's go and pull the public 3D printing out of all of the building queues just so that I'm aware of which places don't have a lot of important stuff to build. Alright, we know Dill does need actual construction. We should go through here really quickly and just verify which systems could be building other stuff. Like, the mining tech is really cheap. We don't necessarily need it on Zeturbia. That's why we built everything else first. But I suppose we could be bringing in more titanium to sell. And then here we have no money stuff left. We can of course build more influence boosters, but like, kind of who cares. We do need more approval here. I'm just going to go ahead and fix that approval issue real fast. And then here, okay, so everything that's still no construction is a high priority exavolt tower location, or distributed energy location. So let's look at the market. Sorry, I was on the right screen already. This is the tab I wanted. There's a ton of orichalcics and actually a ton of quadrinics as well, but stuff ain't cheap. So let's start by buying 10 of this, right? And then another 10 of that, and can we get 7 more of you going? It's honestly, it's not that expensive yet. So we'd like to be building 4 of these, right? We can probably make this happen. It's like benthic gems are still very valuable despite the fact that, as far as I can tell, they have no use. But you know, some people probably like them. I mean, we are producing 90 blue cat mold per turn. That's actually wonderful. Okay, so that'll give me enough to get those going, and that's all of the systems that don't have anything else they could be doing, right? Now, these are not cheap buildings in terms of industry cost either. 12,000 is a lot. Even with our very, very powerful industry setup, some of these are going to take a while, and a 1.4 million dust buyout is also obviously non-trivial. So we've lost a little bit of income here because we no longer have those systems producing directly producing dust, but the payout of having this up is, you know, significant. 10% is not mind-blowing. I think it's worth doing, certainly. And then we'll just keep an eye on it. We'll keep it growing over time until we have distributed processing in all of our systems. And of course, the amount of dust output on the nodes along the trade routes will increase the trade route value, and, you know, things will keep growing. We've done a good job of getting all of our growth factors into place, I think. Speaking of our growth factors into place, I think that's the nearest population ship headed for Heartfire. I'm a little worried Heartfire is going to grow too much before they arrive. At this point, I think our ecologist political will is probably okay. We hacked Antares. Let's go ahead and embed a sleeper there as well, or install a back door. Actually, let's do that, and then we can try to run hacks like from Antares, like this. Just give us a little bit of distance to work with here. Install an accelerator. Hopefully, even if we trigger a trap here, that'll be it'll take enough time to trace us back that we'll be okay. Go ahead and grab Geniocrat. We've done pretty well on hero management too, I think. Alright, the next economic behemoth is done in 1 turn. And it's like, with these behemoths hanging out around Zosmanos, it's not like they're not producing dust. Zosmanos has a fair amount of dust output. They're just also helping build this other thing. Wait, how do I not have AI? I'm just going to go ahead and get that done. That should really have been done. That's a thing I should have noticed earlier. Now see, those are the kinds of mistakes that matter. Growth mistakes are a real issue. Because of the compounding nature of pretty much everything that happens in a 4X game. Growth, not getting your growth factors in place and keeping them growing can have a really significant effect on your mid and late game positions. Alright, looks like that nearest ship is probably going to land next turn. It's like right behind... Oh no, it got there this turn. Cool. Well, here's hoping that they take over the whole damn system. Alright, we have one more good skill point on this tier, and then I think that's it for him, right? He's out of... Yeah, that's... well, you know, he is a senator. So this does something, in theory, like if we get attacked. But I think mostly he's pretty much out of real skill points to take. He got some good stuff, though. Okay, Maz is starting to come along in population, and will definitely benefit from this. We're up to 11 people there. 11 units of population. A unit of population is not a single person.
Horatio remains appreciative of your attitude and is always ready to lend advice.
That statement is hard to read and even harder to understand.
Hey, how's it going?
But the important part is he feels safe with us. Oh, this is Osmanos. We should be... Right. Right, I remember what we were doing here. Also, why... We should specialize this too. You know, I'll just buy that out. I'm not going to spend time on that. Alright, on Othero, we don't really have a lot of important stuff to do, so let's get some distributed energy going. Also, I did something. Oh, somebody finished tracking down the photobomber. I don't care about this. This is not important to me. Alright, so Zaturbia gets distributed energy. Do we also want to do it on Othero? Yes. Right, well, we have plenty of money to make that happen. It really is, like... It's a weirdly small effect for a building that requires so much research to get a hold of, and then so much industry to actually build. And then after we have that, I think we're done building important stuff for maybe the rest of the game here. And I mean, like, this terraform isn't exactly going to remove all of the industry from that system or anything. Alright, actually, these guys are not... This system's not on any of the trade routes, though, so I don't care too much about it. Yersh could help us. Yeah, maybe it's just the case that you can only have 9 routes per company. Like I said, I've never run into it before, so I didn't realize that there was a limit. Okay, Cygnus still needs a level 3 upgrade. Are we cool on... We are not cool on either of the resources. Alright, this will be the last time we have to buy Jade And obviously we could just wait, but who waits for stuff? We need one of these. Alright, that, and then we need 3... level 4 colony upgrades, and IMEX should probably do that before it builds the distributed thingy. That's a highly technical term, the distributed, thingy. So we're going to need 90 of each of those, which we're way past, and 180 Gossamer. But we don't need all the Gossamer right now, I guess, because some of the systems that would be doing this are doing... Well, one of the systems that would be doing this can't actually do it for a couple of turns. We could probably wait on Heartfire. Let's definitely get this going here. Heartfire should finish colonizing Heartfire 2 before we worry about the upgrade. Yeah, just go ahead and vine them up. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. Alright. Oh, you know what? This is a lot of money. I should be buying trade barges. I do wish that there was like an in-game encyclopedia just to help me out with stuff like, why do I not get more trade routes? Or like, there are a lot of mechanics in the game and they are not super well expressed within the game. And you could always be like, well, the developers maintain a wiki. You can just go look at the wiki, but I really do prefer when that stuff is in the game. Okay, the truce has ended with the Sophons and the Hisha, which means that we need proper peace with them.
Dude.
I think the Sophons and the Hisha both actually like me, so we might be able to get a normal peace, which is a little bit less brittle. Then again, maybe it's worth forcing peace just so that I don't have to wait for them to consider. I'm actually starting to come around to that idea. You know what? That's okay. It's fine. We'll just do this thing. Alright, they're busy. I guess we'll come back at the end of the turn. I'm assuming we're being blockaded by... Yeah, that's a Sophon blockade. That's fine. That'll break down in a second here when we get peace with them. What could you take? This is it's a considerable amount of food boost. Mostly what we're trying to do is get to Renegade Master. I guess take that. It's fine. And then... You are out of useful skill points for this tier. We still don't actually have anybody up at Bean Counter yet, right? None of our overseers have made it to that point. Okay, you're building those things. Those things matter. We've gained access to the Dust Anti-Trafficking Center, which we should definitely build somewhere. And then also this thing, which we should probably build on Zosmanos. Let's talk about those things. So if there's any place that we were going to build one huge industry booster, it's right here. We would need 50 Orichalcics to make it happen, and fortunately, that's a thing we can absolutely do. There's an awful lot of Orichalcics out there in the galaxy, and it seems like people are mostly not using it for very much. And then we should build the other thing, right? A Ministry of Truth is going to be basically nothing for us. And this is just going to be another 50 Orichalcics. And I'm inclined to put it in the same place that we put the last big trade value booster. Right? For the same reason. It's the same thing. Obviously, this is better in a place with a larger population. The population here is 19, and it will get larger as we terraform. I'm okay with that. Let's make that a priority. We could maybe buy some of the time off of these. Obviously, like a straight buyout is not very feasible. Okay.
Checking up on us again.
Can we please make this happen? Proposes the contract. It's a gentle way of putting it. Hey look, microwave pipes. We're still working on microwave pipes in some places. Obviously we want to buy you guys another thing, and then we can make another 20k happen, right? I have resources. Boy, people really love these high-tier luxuries. It's not quite enough money. Also, apparently, the Blue Cat Mold. Blue Cat Mold has risen in price pretty considerably, and we're making so damn much of it. Alright, I think we're good. Where are we at numerically? Where are we at on the victory condition? Man, bringing in another Alliance member really drove that number up without driving our income up as much as it could have. Partially because I think we were already capped out on the number of freighter or number of routes that our trade companies could run. Definitely throw in behind the ecologists. See, this is what I'm worried about. Unfortunately, this government type does not give us the ability to cheat. I mean, losing the ecologist party is not the end of the world. It's not one of the larger resource-producing laws, but it is still a resource-producing law. Specifically a dust-producing law. We managed to hold out narrowly there. And once again, the religious party out, scientist party in, which is whatever. There's very little chance that we're ever going to run a law from a party that is not ecologist or pacifist. Well, it takes a long time to get through the beginning of the turn at this point. But honestly, the performance, I think, is pretty good relative to what you would see from a lot of 4X games. Like, the level of complication of the position in this game, like the number of systems and the things that are happening on them, it's impressive that it's as performant as it is. Okay, so we need 33 gossamer. Yes. Transactions. Sweet, sweet transactions. Okay, and that'll let us push Heartfire up to a level 4. And then we just have one more of those to do. There's probably no reason to wait on this either. So we would need 60 more gossamer, and then at this point, all of our luxury resources... I forgot to clear the text. There we go. At this point, all of our luxury resources are simply for sale. Which is a pretty good thing, because that's a lot of money. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay. So Indusa needs something... Oh, Indusa still has a ton of basics to build. Actually, take me over there. We probably don't want to mess with the science output of this system too much. Once we have the endless tech that we're building toward, we're definitely just going to terraform all of these cold planets to be as dust effective as possible. Because it's not like it's going to crash our science or anything. We have a lot of science buildings. We have a lot of good sources of science income. I just want to make sure that we're progressing toward this thing. So we are one turn away from having this tech done, and then we got to grab one more tech from this tier up here. I don't really think that any of this matters. I guess take the decloaking one. And then in 3 turns we can begin the Wealth of the Endless, which is a fairly big deal. That is going to take a little while to research, probably. It's a lot of science. Let's see, we'll vine up Primus next. And I mean, the Vine network does help with defense and everything because it makes friendly ships faster. So at this point, any more population growth that we experience is going to come from one of two things. Either terraforming planets such that they can hold a greater population, or in systems where we have Nearest and also a ton of Unfallen, we could just send the Unfallen out toward full systems just to get them off the planet, and then their ships will just sort of hover in space around the place that they're supposed to go, and that'll free up room for expansion of our nearest population. So it feels a little silly to use that, but it does work. Okay, and we now have the better version of Industry Becomes Dust. So that's an important thing for when we complete all these distributed things. Xenotourism's actually pretty good. That's pretty okay. Alright. You have a lot of stuff to do. Man, we have been afflicted. Positively afflicted by inflation. It's very harsh. Alright, so Heartfire 2 has to get terraformed pretty significantly. That's going to be the next thing we do here. I'm not going to worry about getting this system, like, dust productive too quickly, and in fact, I will absolutely just buy this out. I just want to finish our faction quest. So we're in the final chapter, but I don't know if we're in the final step of the final chapter, and it's possible that there will be more rewards and better rewards available further on here. Oh hey, we'll reveal this Guardian for you. That'll be helpful. Also a source of Orichalcix. So we're building, and we're building, and we're building, and yeah, basically everybody's trying. Everybody's doing their best. A mighty patriot to inspire the Empire. We will drink to this Guardian. I didn't realize that there were lines for that. I've never seen an AI talk to me about me discovering a Guardian for them. That's pretty cool, actually. Okay, we tend our vines. Yeah, we got kind of lucky here. We're just like off in the corner, and the vaulters aggressively settling around us, which was a thing I was really concerned about at the end of the game, has turned out to actually be a thing that keeps us really, really safe. Because the vaulters have a considerably better military than we do, and thanks to their teleporters, that military can be between us and everyone all of the time. Actually worked out to be really great. So to terraform Heartfire 2 into a jungle or monsoon planet, what is happening now? There's a blockade here. Is that possible? We're at Cold War with these guys.
What are you planning?
I'm planning to be peaceful with you. That's right. We went from truce to Cold War, which made them able to blockade us again. Problem solved. Alright, you are exactly where you need to be. Just hang out there until you generate another thing.
Nakalim will survive this, as we
Is it really peace if it's forced? I mean, I sort of understand what she's saying, but like, ask the people on the ground who don't have explosions going off around their houses whether or not it feels like peace. So where's the technology that we would need to use to do the terraforming that we need to do here? Climate engineering permits transformation into fertile planets. That's probably the one we're looking for. Yeah, and we actually have a lot of the other terraforming tech around here already. So we'll grab climate engineering really quickly. It's a very, very short detour. What is the cost of this technology? Oh yeah, it's actually less than a turn of our science output. Totally acceptable. Oh, I have 321,000 dust. I should probably not hit end turn when that number looks like that. Well, we'll fix it in a second here. Man, people made some transactions occur on the market that turn. So my colonies are all actually level 4 now. That's nice. That feels good. Luna Barxis has no relevant level ups to take. I don't know. More food. That'll help. That's the thing we need, is just even more food. You can grab minus 10% of your upkeep cost? I mean, dust catalyzation is definitely better than that. Nope, I want to lock in those changes. Did they? Okay. They did lock in, it just took a minute. And I had exited the menu before they were complete. Alright, so we have access to the magic of Quadranix toroids. Alright, we definitely want to create the MXBA here. A Master's in Xeno Business Administration. So we're going to need... That is way, way less industry. Look at how much cheaper that is to build. We're going to be buying Orichalcix forever. Wait, was it 10? It wasn't 10, it was 25. Numbers go out of my brain the instant I'm not looking at them. I have no object permanence for numbers. It's a nice fast build. Here we can turn this into a... So we're going to have to walk this sort of down the terraforming chain. You can't just jump to whatever you want. But I'm not going to stress about it too much until we actually have the necessary terraforming tech. Although I guess we're going to have it next turn. I'll just buy that. Okay, and then we have, first of all, an awful lot of money sitting in the bank, and secondly, an awful lot of resources that we no longer need for anything at all. So let's just go ahead and sell these. And then we're going to use this to buy... Do I want to hold on to those? We have 3 turns before we need to reboost the nearest. And in 3 turns we will produce a mere 33 of these. So, I don't know, we'll sell 65. That should be fine. Don't need these anymore. Okay. let's spend... We don't really need that much quadronics anymore either. We produce almost enough quadronics for a distributed learning thing every turn. And drop all this stuff, and honestly at this point we can start selling these middle tier resources as well. Okay, let's plow 700,000 dust into our trading companies. As evenly as possible, just because it pleases me mostly. But the one that has the highest output definitely is a higher priority. And you know, at this point, like, each one of them is producing a fair number of luxury resources and actually quite a lot of science. 45 blue cap mold per turn from just that one company. Oh, I should probably specialize these planets too. Here's a thing we can do with this turn's industry. This place is just temperate. Yeah, I don't know. Dust. Make dust. I don't know, he says. Like, making dust isn't always the right answer. Alright, let's hope the anomalies on, or the curiosities on safe can improve the value of these trading companies, even if we're not able to link to them directly, just because, you know, obviously, United Empire money is our money. It all counts. Alright, let's have a look at what it's going to take to do this terraform, and also a look at what it's going to take to get this endless technology. Still developing big dust outputs in a bunch of places. So this is definitely an embed sleeper. This is definitely an embed sleeper. And now we have a couple. If we run 2 more successful operations in this same way, we'll actually be at the threshold to steal some of their resources. It feels like it's really hard to get that running. Like, the AI is way too vigilant about this kind of stuff. Basically no chance of a traceback there. If we only have the bandwidth to run a single accelerator, we would run it here. Although, actually, the way these are timed, we can probably run an accelerator in both places. This one will conclude long before this one runs. Well, hold on. Let's, first of all, hold that. So 6 turns. In 6 turns, we'll have plus 15% all resources and plus 40% trade value on all of our systems. Now, that's not going to translate into a 40% trade value bump to our trade routes, because remember, they're deriving some portion of their value from lots of other players' systems. But it's a good start, and terraform to monsoon. That's exactly what we're looking for. It will make the planet slightly less valuable, which is a shame. We can certainly just go ahead and rush that. Let's sell some things and make that happen. I do wish that there was a button that allowed me to just sell all. So we flooded the market pretty badly with resources. Oh wait, I was going to hold on to some of those. Ah well, whatever. It's 206, okay. Do I need to rush this? No. Is it really beneficial to rush this? Probably not, honestly. But I want to do it because I want to see if there's another step in this chapter of our faction quest, or if we are actually done. Okay, that's fined up. What makes more sense now? Players who we are merely friendly with probably don't actually want their stuff vined, because again, it'll start the process of cultural conversion, which they'll be upset about. We'll just vine up the rest of the Vaulter Empire. The Vaulters and their friends, the giant space trees.
Speak. You will see that our
Oh,
trials have
I'm not going to do that.
our hearts.
What does a cooperative protocol with you give? Oh, that's cool. I want that. They still don't have any trade companies, so a trade agreement would be nothing except me spending influence for no reason. Weird that they're not into it. Why would you? I guess they might have a precarious influence position, like they're producing less than they need to maintain their government or something. All right, let's run one more turn here because that'll complete this step of our faction quest, and I want to see if there's anything else going on. And then we can probably call it here. We are close. We're producing dust at what I would describe as an incredible clip here. And we're not all that far from victory now. I do not know if it actually is going to slow things down to have the United Empire in our alliance, but I feel like it is. Unfortunately, once they're in the alliance, I believe there's no way to get them out. The only thing I can do is leave. On a once lifeless planet, the heart does not speak. It is indeed tied to Koyasil, living within the core of the planet from a time before the Endless. The heart has spent ages cultivating and uplifting the unfallen. Our affection and respect are now tempered with some caution, for even though we know what, we do not know why. We see now, however, that we are both ancient and young, born of both nature and technology. We do not choose between fire and light. We are the unfallen. We are both. I might have reversed those last two sentences, but that's that's an okay conclusion. So we're better at terraforming hot worlds into forests, and maybe we'll want to do some of that. I'm not actually sure if that's the best way to generate dust from here. It's an option, it's an option we have. Lower your dust upkeep. And then we can set up a couple more planets here. We may as well do this, even if it's not a particularly large amount of science. It's such a small amount of influence, or such a small amount of industry, and then we're going to be converting that industry directly into dust from here on. Unless we want to build ourselves an obelisk. So the obelisk is 20,000 industry. It would take about 10 turns to build. It would take about 9 turns to build. Do we want to do that? Or do we want to just terraform into... Okay, we definitely don't want to make that move. Terraform into higher population, higher dust output planets. Like, forest is pretty good, right? Is ocean better? Ocean is 2, plus 2, plus 2, plus 1, plus 1 from here. So forest has less science, but more industry. I think that means we actually want to go to ocean where we can. I would prefer to have the science, and that industry is going to be a single point of dust once we're in emergency labor policy. Versus 2 points of science. There's still some stuff worth researching. Maybe forest is best, actually. And then we'll make this... We will not make this a monsoon. I think we're maybe good then. We should probably rebalance this to colonial exchange. And go for this thing. And maybe we will try to build some obelisks, but I don't... That's the thing we can consider next time. We can do a little bit more math. Here we have a lot of very basic science buildings to build. This would just be Hyperium, which is not great. And then we want to obviously start putting these out, but I'm gonna let all this stuff build first. And on Heartfire, we have a ton of things to put together. This place is still very underdeveloped. We need one more... I guess I'm not going to worry about it right now because we still have all this to build. But we should probably not sell all of our adamantium for a little while. Okay, so we're producing nearest population still. Where are we at on 42? Okay. I still don't know what their law is. It may not be worth having, but I'm a little... Based on what we saw in the last election, I'm a little concerned and thinking we might need to just produce more nearest for the purposes of political will, more than anything else. Alright, but I think we've created a situation here. Let's have one last check-in with our economy. So we're at 2.5 million, which, I mean, if you remember the last time we looked at this number, that represents a fairly significant jump. I think probably we're really, really close on this, and we're leading on everything else. Nobody else is anywhere near any victory condition. I think we actually got really lucky with the Lumeris deciding that they wanted to be our friends when they did, because if we weren't in their alliance, I think they're the people who would be challenging us on victory speed. They're the only people who are representing as being anywhere close. It is worth remembering that as far as a science victory goes, you don't get the notification for another player or alliance being near the science victory until they finish researching their first endless tech. So it's not impossible that the Sophons have like all of the prerequisites for their endless techs, and then they're just going to shoot them off one after another. But I think even if they go for that, we might still beat them. So that's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time tomorrow when I think there's a very real chance we're going to push through... Oh, no, wait. Tomorrow we're doing Noida. Come back next time, Monday. Special schedule stuff, Monday, when there's a very real chance we're going to push through the end of this, and then maybe we're going to start another one. And we'll see you then.